You know what they say, just take one step at a time. No need to rush. If you don't know what you have to do in the long run, just keep going. When you get to your current destination, the rest of the journey will be, they become clearer to you. It's the conversation on TOSTV Network, a digital first Pan-African news network, reaching you from Abuja, Nigeria's capital city. And of course, my name is Ade Sewell. So you already know that the conversation today is going to be entertaining, engaging, as a matter of fact. But before then, I'm going to bring you COVID-19 update from across Africa. And after that, it's the big story. You're still watching the conversation on TOSTV Network, and by now you already know you can be a part of the conversation by following us across all social media platforms. It's TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Subscribe to the channel on YouTube. It's TOSTV Network, and of course you can stream our website for news, stories and happenings from across the world. It's www.tostvnetwork.com. Moving straight into the crux of the conversation today, that's the big story. So everybody knows that our dear country Nigeria is, currently faced with myriads of economic challenges that have constantly threatened the livelihood of Nigerians and businesses alike, from insecurity to fuel scarcity and the hike in the price of diesel to decline in electricity supply. It's a lot, and that's what we're going to be looking at on the conversation today. The plight of businesses in today's Nigeria. And to help me in discussing that, here in the studio is Sadat Haliru Idris, an interior designer and CEO of SAA Foodie Abuja, or SA Foodie Abuja. I'm not so sure how to pronounce that one. But good morning and welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome. Now let's get straight into it. You are a business owner in Nigeria, and then you did hear a lot that I mentioned. There's been the issue of insecurity, there's been the issue of fuel scarcity, the hike in the price of diesel, there's the challenge with electricity and the hike in the price of tariff. How has all of that impacted your business so far?
Wow, it's tough.
Okay.
It's never easy. Especially the past 1 month is worse. It's been not easy all this while, but this past 1 month is worse because there are some particular orders I can't even take.
Why is that?
Because of power failure.
Okay.
Like, we've been on complete blackout in my area, and the central gen is faulty and no alternative.
Oh.
It's really tough.
Okay.
You
You are in the food business. You also do interior design, and I do know that means you constantly visit the market, back and forth, so you know what the situation of the market is. Can you just give me a brief?
Crazy. Sometimes you sit down, draft a list, write down things you want to buy, maybe with prices, so you know your limits on what to spend.
Yeah. So
let's assume you budgeted for 50k or let's say 100k. When you get to the market, you'll be shocked. You either spend ×2 or even ×3. It's really crazy. It's hard for us. It's really hard.
So is that now reflected in the prices of your produce, and how has your customers taken that?
Well, customers don't care. They don't want to understand. Their own is, why is your product high like this? Last week I ordered, it was so price, and they know what's happening. Actually there is no inflow of cash. Everybody is actually managing, and suddenly maybe let me take a cake, for instance, a birthday cake that I usually make maybe for 20,000 naira. So getting to the market, seeing price of items doubling or tripling, so I can't just go back to a particular client and tell them, oh, I'm just coming back from the market, so you just have to top up some money. It doesn't work. So mostly our profit is always on the line, except for the next customer coming in, then you put in whatever you went through in the market. It's really not easy.
That's quite sad, because I was wondering, as that kind of, you know, reduce the demand and supply, bridge the demand and supply of your product, as demand dropped, or, you know, all of that.
Definitely, because at some point you have to like decline on some orders.
Yeah.
Because where you estimated to charge 30,000 and the client is telling you, oh no, I'm paying 15,000, it doesn't work. So you just have to decline. Not all orders you must take, because you don't want to lose, and you don't want to lose customers as well. So it's really tough to manage. But
what do you actually say to them? What do you say to them? How do you convince them that, look, we all know what's happening in the country. It's not my fault.
Exactly.
As in, you also know. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can as well
First thing I use is bread.
Okay.
Because everybody takes bread almost on daily basis, like for breakfast. And you can't go to a bakery and tell them, oh no, your bread is too expensive, reduce the price for me. It's not possible. So I use that as an example. You buy bread for 350 naira like few months ago, and today you're buying it 800, 700. How do you feel about that? So it's the same product. They use the same raw materials we use. So that is the problem. So try and understand, because you have to start listing price of egg, difference in price of egg, flour, sugar, and everything. You just have to explain to them. Those that want to understand, they'll understand. But some don't want to understand.
Don't want to get it. But how have you managed to stay in business despite all of this? I mean, if it's this frustrating, some persons would have just closed shop and sat
exactly.
home.
A lot of people actually shut down because it's not easy. The good thing is I'm a home baker.
Okay.
So I just have to, you know, we just have to sacrifice. You know, let's say you're making profit of 20%, it has to drop. If you don't want to stay out of business, it has to drop. So there should be compromise. You know, you don't expect that 20% to keep going. So you just have to lose something, you know, just to keep the business going.
Do you think the government is doing enough to alleviate this? Because I know that small businesses, big or medium scale business, are actually the core of a successful economy. So do you think Nigeria's, the Nigerian government actually are doing enough, or they actually do not care what happens to, you know, businesses in this part of the world?
I think they do not care. I think they do not care, and I see it as, sorry to say, I see it as wickedness.
Okay.
Because most youth are not employed. We have a lot of unemployed youth. I'm one of them, because I used to work with a private company before COVID.
Okay.
So during COVID, you just have to, you can't just sit idle at home doing nothing. So I came up with, you know, online delivery kind of thing. You know, you can't go out to deliver, or people can't come into your space for pickup. So we have to devise a means to just survive. You don't just kill the business. So after COVID, I realized I just prefer to face one business, you know. So the company could not even cope again, so we're not even called back. So I had to face the business. So it's frustrating that after graduation, after all you've been through in school, you finish, there's no job, you created one for yourself, and it's been frustrated. Common amenities government could provide, it will make things easy. Just common amenities. Let's have good power supply, water, good roads, and all. That's all we need. We don't need much, but they are not doing it.
So you don't think they're doing anything, or they're not just doing enough?
Anything, because if you remember a few months ago, tariff was high. They increased the tariff, saying, oh, if they increase the tariff, the power supply will be better, which they did it for a few weeks, or let me say few months, then resume back. It's even worse now. So what are they doing? Nothing.
Okay, so if you were to, so this is like a call to action for government officials, and if you also want to actually talk to business people who are also facing the same frustration? Okay, let's start with the business people that are actually facing the same frustration that you do. What would you ask them to do in this time?
Well, I would just advise them to be strong, because that's the only thing we can do. Nigerians, we are strong and we are patient, because all these things happening, all these frustrating things happening, and just not just power supply and the rest, even tax payments.
Yeah.
And you keep paying tax, you know, and nothing is done. You're not gaining anything out of that. So we are really suffering. So I'll just tell them to keep moving, you know, don't shut down. It's tough, but I believe and I pray and I hope it will be better soon. I just hope so.
And to the government?
They should to the government, they should come to our aid.
I like the way you said it. It's like you've given up, but you still have to tell them.
Honestly, maybe one day God will have mercy on us, because the only one I can depend on is God. I don't think government is...
I don't think they care.
They don't care.
I can see the frustration in your face. It's like you're really, really frustrated. Honestly. And then you wouldn't be doing it if you don't have to do it.
I just have to, because I'm unemployed and I have to survive. I can't just depend on one person, bring. It doesn't work like that. So it's really not fair from the government, honestly.
Okay. All right, I do hope that something is done. So I'm Nigerian and I also live here, so I also know how it is. I do hope something is actually done really soon to alleviate the suffering of Nigerians, especially, you know, business owners. I mean, that's like the bedrock of any economy, really. All right, thank you so much for joining me on the conversation this morning. It was such a pleasure to have you. I hope we can have you another time.
Sure.
All right. Thank you for staying with me up until this time on the conversation. Do not forget that the conversation comes to you every weekday, same time, same channel, Mondays to Fridays. I'll be here same time tomorrow. But before then, follow TOSTV Network across all social media platforms. It's TOSTV Network on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. The channel to subscribe to on YouTube, it's TOSTV Network. And of course, our website is www.tostvnetwork.com for you to stream news, stories and happenings from across the world. My name is Adesua. Thank you, and I'll see you tomorrow.